Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. I have to confess I worked with Mike for a year or two and I had no idea he was a pastor. He's already at work. Maybe you were a pastor at the time. Yes. Special guests, Mr. Les Isaac, Bishop Wilton Powell from overseas, our local pastors, members of Operation Save Jamaica, SSP Fitz Bailey, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, almost not quite April, 9 months ago, it was April 2013, I went through a sort of personal epiphany as Minister of National Security when I came to a sort of realization and experiential understanding that the best efforts of the security forces, police in particular, those efforts by themselves, no matter how professional, no matter how much resources we try to support it with, we're not going to be successful in creating the safe and secure Jamaica that I think our children deserve. And I said then that it would take divine intervention. That is something that I was very surprised at how criticized and ridiculed I was for making that call, but I have not resigned from it. And it's interesting that since that time, a number of things have happened, and I'll share some of them with you. But one of them was that within a couple of months, in June, I think it was last year, Mike and a team, many of whom I knew from business, but had no idea of their
persuasion,
pastoring, came to see me and brought Les Isaac to introduce this World Street Pastor Initiative. Well, they remind me now that it was supposed to be launched in January, but I was so excited and welcoming that I thought it was to be launched from last year, September or so. But truthfully, I didn't wait on them to launch it. I have launched it a number of times. So to say that I welcome the initiative is really an understatement. I have now, as I was explaining to them when I came here, as I was leaving home this afternoon, I was speaking to a friend and I said, I have to run, I'm going to the launch of the Street Pastors Initiative this evening. He said, oh, good luck. You know, that is your thing. Yeah, man, I know about it. I heard about it. And so I feel like I'm co-owning this initiative this afternoon. But the timing is really serendipitous that we had the launch for the Unite for Change initiative yesterday. And that we could have this almost as if flowing, almost as if a tangible manifestation of exactly what we were calling for within 24 hours of the launch of the initiative. Some would say it's divine intervention. But even yesterday's event, although you probably I'm not sure if you've heard of coverage in the media, but we took the decision really firmly about 3 weeks ago that we're going to have this national forum. And everybody said, no man, you can't organize something like this in 3 weeks. You want overseas speakers, panels of local speakers. Let us put it about 3 months out. And I said, no, I want this in the first month of the year because we're launching this initiative. We want it to have an impact for the full course of the year. And the beginning of the year is a great time to turn over a new leaf, etc. So, people kind of shook their head, the minister, is knocking the Kool-Aid again. But, they would give it a shot. And we said, or my expectation was, I think if we can get 400 persons to come, this will be a real success. And I know that it will be 400 in the morning, probably by mid-morning after the keynote speakers, you'll be down to 200. And after lunch, if we can hold on to 100 for the afternoon session, I'll have considered it, a success. Well, we had over 1,000 persons. And I would say, up to 4 o'clock, we still had about 800. Fully engaged, interested, disciplined, motivated, probably me most of all, but I think it was really a hopeful, promising start, and it just was so exciting to hear what persons were already doing. And I remember turning to somebody when a presentation was being made about Kingston High School and transformation taking place at Kingston High School. And I asked them, how comes I've never heard of this before? I mean, it's an amazing transformation taking place and the leadership that's being provided there, etc. And it was very encouraging. And we're hopeful that it's, as I said in my remarks at the end, that yesterday wasn't the end or even the beginning of the end, but perhaps the end of the beginning of this initiative, which I hope will transform Jamaica. Now, a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, early this month, I was invited to speak at the 2nd anniversary of Transform Life Church. And I don't know if anybody's here from that church, but that was another opportunity I used to launch Street Pastor. And so I gave a presentation, an address there. I spoke about the Unite for Change initiative, and that it was really about the entire country coming together, taking responsibility for making Jamaica safer and more secure. And that a lot of what we saw as crime statistics really was the outcomes of failures or weaknesses at various levels of the society. Primarily failures at family, then perhaps failures at school, failures of our public health system, failures of community, social work, various weaknesses or failures, and then at the end of the day it's manifested as a crime statistic. And when the economy doesn't produce enough jobs and families and schools, families collapse, schools fail to educate and socialize sufficiently, then we look to law enforcement to save us. And as Jack Calhoun, one of the speakers, said yesterday, nothing could be more wrong. It gives law enforcement an impossible burden, and it lets the rest of us off the hook. And that's not how we're going to solve the problems we have. But what was interesting is that at this service, even though I'd been invited to make an address, and I had no idea, I'd never met the pastor before, and I had no idea what his sermon was going to be about. But I sat afterwards and then listened to him preach a sermon on Nehemiah and rebuilding the wall around Jerusalem, and how that single initiative led the Jews at the time to regain confidence and the community became prosperous. And it's really, in a sense, my dream that if we could succeed in this simple initiative of violence prevention, that this somehow could be our rebuilding of the wall of Jerusalem, and that the people could regain confidence and that Jamaica will prosper. Now, of course, any initiative for change is quickly ridiculed and greeted with cynicism. And in Jamaica, there is no shortage of sandbags and tobias. But as my colleague minister and Beacon right said at an event we were at earlier this week, what Jamaica needs is more Nehemiahs and less sandbags. And I think what I see here today is a number of Nehemiahs. And I'm really grateful for that and thankful to be a part of this initiative. So ladies and gentlemen, I want as I said, I'm always careful, when I speak from a church podium, because last time I got myself into what seemed to be some hot water, but perhaps it was for the best. And I really want to thank you for this initiative. I'm very excited. Anything that we can do from the Ministry of National Security, and even though SSP Fitzbane is going to get up and speak on behalf of the JCF, I think I can speak on behalf of all the agencies and departments of the ministry, and indeed on behalf of the entire government, because we see this as an initiative that is the Unite for Change initiative, is multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary. It will straddle all sectors of society, NGOs, faith-based organizations, schools, neighborhood watches, even just concerned citizens as individuals who want to do something, and we want to move from it being an era of concern, and we want to move our citizens into action to make a change and to make Jamaica a safer, more secure country. I thank you, because this initiative, I believe, is going to be a critical part of that initiative. Thank you.